USAID, of course, the International Agency for International, the US Agency for International Development, has basically been the dark heart of the NGocracy, the public-private partnership, if you were. Essentially, the sort of shadow international government that has been squirreling away American taxpayer funds and directing them to sort of glow-ups all around the world. Indeed, if there is a glow-up that has touched you or touched your children inappropriately, chances are that there was USAID money involved. They have funded everything from coups in, Eastern Europe to anti-vax propaganda. They've even funded stuff like making sure that video games are crap. Their tentacular molestations stretch all over the globe, and now they're gone. They're shut down. Oh, what a shame. How am I going to get more gay and trans video games? How are we supposed to get more civil society organizations? How am I supposed to read from some weird outfit in Romania why is it absolutely a good thing that trannies read to your children? Without USAID, how is any of these things going to happen? The death of USAID. Civil society, obese, black lesbians, and DEI. Now, in case any of you viewers are not aware, civil society, right, is the glowy term for organizations that push propaganda, do what's called capacity building in, various countries that they want to overthrow, propaganda, civil society organizations. And of course, they overthrow governments if you get out of line. That's what they call them. So, USAID is kill, bros. It is kill. Here's basically Trump just saying, we shut it down. Yeah, it was full of very, very bad people. We shut it down. I mean, if anyone's got that meme of the guy looking in the windows, window being like, ha ha ha, yes. That's literally how I feel about this.
USAID, or what's going on there?
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
USAID.
Run by radical lunatics. Well, he's not wrong, right? Look, bros. USAID is officially kill. Their website is down. Their Twitter profile does not exist. Oh, bros. Oh, bro. I mean, it's amazing, right? Trump is considering merging USAID into the US State Department. Now, USAID has always been linked to the State Department, but it has been an independent agency, right? I just want everyone to realize that when governments say things like it's an independent agency, right? What they really mean is that government can no longer control it. These agencies are not independent. They have their own culture. They have their own goals, right? You see this everywhere, right? They're like, oh, we're an independent agency. No, you're not. You're full of glowies. You take dark money from various donors. You're not independent at all. What it basically means is that whatever government gets into power has no ability to check their horrible policies. So the Trump administration intends to merge USAID with the US Department of State. This will basically mean that it's massively downsized, and it will be directly overseen by the Secretary of State, who is going to be Marco Rubio, meaning that all of their funding is going to have to go through him to get approved. Now, as you can probably imagine, I heard a voice like millions of glowies crying out in horror, and then were suddenly silenced. They're like, oh no, how are we supposed to send money for lesbian dance classes in Pakistan? Now, I think that once the sort of true scope and nature of what's been going on with organizations like USAID comes to light, it will be recognized as possibly one of the largest money laundering operations to ever exist on planet Earth. I cannot prove this, but many, many people have speculated that all of this money going to lesbian dance classes in Pakistan and stuff like that have nothing to do with any of these kinds of stuff. And these are just sort of headlines in order to funnel money to political allies, many of which are probably terrorist groups, criminals, all this kind of stuff. This is essentially how the Glow State has been funding itself off the back of the American taxpayer. And I highly suspect, in fact, I would be willing to bet some money on this, that this is precisely how the EU works. This is precisely how the UK works. This is the dark heart of the NGocracy, as I call it, the NGO-ocracy, right? So, you know, they're saying basically, you know, some functions of USAID will continue, but, you know, the playtime is over, basically, right? Playtime is over. You're not going to be able to, like, just funnel money to whoever you want. USAID absorbed into the State Department under Rubio after Doge Crusade. As you can imagine, all the glowies are very, very angry at Elon Musk. Basically, what seems to have been happening is that he's got like a sort of crew of programmers and stuff. They've been like going into places like the Office of Personnel Management, which is like the HR department for the entire US government, and grabbing all the files, right? And trying to figure out what's going on. Same thing with USAID. They tried to lock him out of the building, and they actually had to call the cops on them to let them in and stuff like that. I have a suspicion, again, I can't say this for certain, but my suspicion is that Musk is probably taking all of this data and feeding it into an AI, training an AI with it so that they can figure out where all of this money is going to. Because, you know, this at this point is such an incredible sort of Swiss cheese of like money laundering that it would take years and years for people to figure it out, whereas an AI would have a much better job at handling such a huge amount of data. So yes, over the last several days, the Trump administration's move to strip USAID of its independence and roll it into the State Department has been well telegraphed with leaks and reports. Marco Rubio will ensure grant scrutiny. No. And people, of course, are pointing out that, I mean, look, USAID has funded so much stuff. They gave millions to bat coronavirus research in 2019 and then attempted to cover it up. Pretty much every single bad thing that has happened, you can trace back to USAID. And my suspicion, again, is that when you talk about people like Gates and Soros, the Open Society Foundation, what they have been doing is this well-known model where you lobby the government and put in a little bit of money, but you get the government itself to do the heavy lifting. So Soros might put in 10 million, but the government puts in 100, 200 million, right? So the money that Soros and all of his little glowies give basically direct the organs of the government, because the government has so much more money than even a person like Soros. Gates was well aware of this. I think there's a quote of him basically saying, you know, you spend $10 in lobbying, you get $100 back in profits. That's how this scam works. Musk told more than about 700,000 listeners who tuned in that the President Trump agreed that we should shut USAID down. As we dug into USAID, it became apparent that what we have here is not just an apple with a worm in it, but we actually have just a ball of worms. If you have an apple with a worm in it, you can take the worm out. If you have a whole ball of worms, it's hopeless. USAID is a ball of worms. There is no apple, and when there is no apple, you just need to get rid of the whole thing. That's why it's got to go. It is beyond repair. And he then wrote, USAID is a criminal organization. Time for it to die. I'm here for it. I am here for it. My God. Did you know that USAID, using your tax dollars, funded bioweapon research, including COVID-19, that killed millions of people? Oh my God, no. Yeah, they totally did. They totally did that. They've like placed all the people on leave. They basically messaged them all, say, don't come in on Monday. They originally refused to turn over classified material in restricted areas to Musk's government inspection teams. However, they did gain access on Saturday to the aid agency's classified information, which includes intelligence report, the former official said. And because Trump already ordered a freeze on foreign aid, they don't have much to do. So yes, you know, basically, USAID is a front for the CIA, and together with NGOs like the Open Society Foundation, they have been using the US tax dollars and government resources as their personal piggy bank, as I detailed earlier. It has been infuriating to watch. Hopefully the whole truth will come out now. Yeah, indeed. Musk's involvement with Doge suggests that a rapid counteroffensive against the deep state is underway. What likely happened with USAID is a precision-guided strike aimed at severing the deep state's key funding source, always follow the money, and neutralizing the deep state's ability to launder taxpayer funds is a great start. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. It's going to be awesome. And completely coincidentally, at the same time that this happened, Zelensky suddenly discovered that he's missing $100 million. What a coincidence, bros. Amazing coincidence.
Дивіться, я коли чую, і раніше чув, і сьогодні ми чуємо від Сполучених Штатів Америки, що Америка дала Україні сотні мільярдів, 177, якщо сказати більш точно. Така звучала точна цифра, яку підтримували або голосував Конгрес, тощо різні організації. Дивіться, я як президент воюючої країни вам говорю, ми отримали більше 75. Тобто 100 мільярдів з цих 177, або 200, говорять навіть деякі люди, ми ніколи не отримували. І це важливо. Бо ми говоримо про конкретні речі, бо ми отримали це не грошима, а зброєю. Ми зброю отримали на 70 з чимось мільярдів. Є навчання, тренування.
Look, who cares what Zelensky said? I mean, look at the reporters being like, oh, imagine believing a word this motherfucker says. Like, President Zelensky. Look, if it was me talking, I'd be like, I'm sorry, Vladimir, I don't believe a fucking word you say, mate. Who was it who said Sapiente, how does one lose $100 billion? Well, it's very complicated, CDs. Who can say, the world financial system is very, very complicated. All the contractors, I mean, it's probably too complex to ever know. Have you considered giving us another $100 billion? Fucking hell. Oh, it's insane. It's insane. Almost certainly kickbacks and, and just to give you an idea of the kind of stuff that USAID has been funding, right? Like when I say they have their tentacular molestations everywhere, I really mean everywhere, right? They were funding bread tubers in the UK. This is Philosophy Tube in particular, to undermine critics of the British government's coronavirus policies by astroturfing a prominent founder of the bread tube clique of anti-fascist YouTube influencers. So they've just been funding. This is what they do. The project aims to conduct psychological profiling on British citizens dissenting against policies such as mandatory vaccination and lockdowns, then leverage that data to establish a YouTube channel that portrays these critics as dangerous super spreaders of disinformation. I hope they all burn. You bastards. But yeah, look, but everyone who was like watching this closely knew that there were like glowy sources of funding here. It was just hard to link it all the way back to USAID. Valence research on British citizens who reject official government policy on COVID-19, quote, will be used to devise a campaign that utilizes YouTuber Abigail Thorne's existing platform to achieve a measurable cognitive shift in the target audience. Oh, I hate this kind of language. Designed to curb the influence of pseudoscience material online, with specific emphasis on coronavirus-related anti-vaxxing sentiment. The operation is run by the UK's Royal Institution and dubbed Challenging Pseudoscience Bros. God damn it, man. Wait. Sati Sapiente. What's this? You have sent me. Can't read the subtitles on the phone. Maybe read along for the busy and poor. Yes, I am. Well, I can't read along for the subtitles of the video, but you get the idea. Its top patron, of course, of Valent is Charles, the Prince of Wales, next in line to the British throne, who recently hit out at supposed conspiracy theories surrounding COVID-19 vaccines. The organisation received a substantial cash injection in 2020 from the UK government's Culture Recovery Fund. Files obtained by the Grey Zone indicate that the Royal Institution has enlisted the services of Valent Projects, a social change communication firm founded by a public relations operative previously involved in the UK Foreign Office's campaign for violent regime change in Syria, which has been sponsored by USAID. And they're even responsible for the terrible state of video games. USAID promotes gender equality and improved health through Half the Sky movement mobile games. They're literally everywhere. All of the cancer that has been like hitting for like the last 10 years, USAID has a hand in. And this is the kind of like stuff they do. Haven't seen this one before, but during COVID, I watched a lot of these. Enjoy, bros.
Disinformation has invaded online conversations on social media platforms, posing challenges to healthy information environments and threats to democracy. It bolsters authoritarians, weakens democratic voices and participation, exploits and exacerbates existing social cleavages, and silences opposition. Countering disinformation and promoting information integrity are necessary priorities for ensuring democracy can thrive. The CEP's Countering Disinformation Guide is a resource including 9 thematic sections and a comprehensive database of interventions highlighting various approaches for advancing information integrity and strengthening societal resilience to disinformation and other harmful online campaigns. The International Foundation for Electoral Systems, International Republican Institute, and National Democratic Institute developed this guide with support from USAID through the Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening. Here are 9 key takeaways from the guide. Addressing disinformation requires a whole-of-society approach.
Just going to translate for you here, by the way. A whole-of-society approach means that they literally have to change the entirety of society. They need censorship everywhere.
We need to create a sense of urgency to drive collective action for addressing disinformation. Institutions and platforms have the resources to address disinformation, but lack credibility, whereas civil society has the credibility, but is chronically under-resourced. Countering disinformation requires a mixed methods approach, including fact-checking, monitoring, and other interventions.
Other interventions? Ooh, I wonder what those other interventions could be. Do you mean censorship and ruining people's lives? Other interventions, bros.
Focusing on major events like election outcomes alone will not achieve a healthy information environment.
A healthy information environment. Don't you want to live in a healthy information environment? Yeah, please define. I mean, look, none of these videos define any of their fundamental terms, basically. This is one of the reasons why they annoy the shit out of me.
Developing norms and standards, legal and regulatory frameworks, and better social media content moderation is necessary for a healthy information ecosystem. It is important to establish frameworks to discourage political parties from engaging in disinformation.
Oh, what a bloody giveaway! It is important to establish frameworks to discourage political parties from saying things that we don't like. It's like bloody hell, man.
Not sure where to start? Click here to explore the Interventions database of organizations, projects, and donors working to counter disinformation around the world.
Oh, get fucked. Fuck off and keep fucking off. Oh, God, I hate you people so much. But all is not lost, bros. All is not lost. The Democrats have gathered outside the USAID offices to have a bit of a chin wag and do, as far as I can tell, absolutely fucking nothing.
As you probably saw, Elon Musk and his crew put a gag order on AID employees. They disconnected them from email, which is putting lives at risk around the world. So we are here to enter the building, and so we can hear firsthand from whoever is here at AID, or at least witness firsthand what is happening with this Elon Musk attempted takeover, which will not stand. We will prevail. Let's go.
Now, the thing is, as far as I can tell, they can't actually get inside the building. So they just, let's go. Let's go and do what? You're locked out. Now, this, of course, all comes on the back of Musk and co. getting aides to the getting access to the Treasury Department so they can find out where all the money is going, if I am correct, and they are basically training an AI off all of this data. It's going to be incredibly powerful. Like, it is, such an AI would be incredibly powerful. They'd just be able to like ask it, where's all this money going? Where did it come from? It'll like pop it up. It's going to be epic. It looks like basically they have successfully mounted a coup, a proper coup. And for those of you who are like, hey, we don't do coups anymore, this is a Western liberal democracy, I would say shut up and read Machiavelli. Hey, but Machiavelli is very old. No, it's not. Universal principles never go out of style. The sensitive systems that Musk got access, run by the Bureau of the Fiscal Service, control the flow of more than $6 trillion annually. Mate, that is insane, right? With that much money, right? No wonder there is so much waste, right? Like, with that kind of money, no one's got any idea where it's going. And the deep state have been spending all of their time essentially defrauding the US government. Now, in a related story that has, is it got anything? It was actually Sede Sapiente that pointed this out to me. I think it is entirely possible that the bank outages that we have been seeing in the UK are related to the shutting down of USAID and the crimping of these money flows. Why would you say that? Well, they do say that London is where all the banking is, right? I suspect most of the Ukraine money was going through London. Now, how much money were they siphoning off? How much of this like black grant money, this black money generally, was being siphoned off in London? And how much of this money was being used to pay off loans or, support like structured financial products? There's no way of knowing. Barclays Bank, the largest bank in the UK, was basically out for like 2 days. This started on Friday. They were down the entire weekend, and everyone was like going crazy, and Barclays was like, oh yeah, no, we haven't been hacked. Everyone's like, well, what's wrong? Oh, it's just an IT problem, bros. Now, I suspect what happened was that this reduction in US monetary flows triggered a liquidity crisis at Barclays, but they couldn't say that because it would sound a little bit bad if they came out and said, oh yeah, we were relying on all those like, black money in order to keep our operations afloat. Apparently, Barclays is mostly back up now. A lot of people were like really, really sore over this, especially since Barclays was just saying, have you considered going to a food bank because you can't get your money? People were not happy about that. Lloyd's went down today for a while, and so did Halifax. Their banking apps went down. And again, this makes me think that what was really happening is that these banks were undergoing a liquidity crisis, and they were doing this in order to stop money flowing out so that they could, repay their creditors and keep their loans and structured finance products liquid. This is one of the things about this kind of like stuff. You're never going to know exactly. It's not like Barclays or Lloyd's or Halifax are ever going to come out and say this, obviously. It's just, a hell of a coincidence. The timing is very, very suspicious.